YouTube, how you doing? How you feeling? I hope everybody's doing okay. The countdown begins now. Trump's going to be inaugurated on the 20th. It's exciting. You know, new things are coming for the United States, and me personally, I can't wait to see what's going to unfold. But as of right now, I wanted to kind of come and talk about the LA situation with the fires and whatnot. It really looks like a bad case of mismanagement out there because looking at what's going on, Gavin Newsom has done he hasn't even done his job at all. I mean, I can't say he's done any kind of job. He's done nothing, absolutely nothing for LA in order for them to be able to come through these fires that are basically taking over the entire state. It's a matter of mismanagement and poor decision making and literally just sitting on his behind and lying to the taxpayers that are there. This area that is under fire right now it doesn't matter where it is, but considering where it is and the idea of the fact that these people they probably carry the brunt of who's paying taxes out in LA, because these are affluent, well-off people who have a lot of money, who have huge houses. I mean, these aren't regular houses. And again, LA is one of the more expensive places to live anyway. So there's houses in millions and tens of millions, and these houses are no longer. And it's the saddest thing that I can say that I've seen in a while, because it could have all been avoided. I kind of want to get into kind of some interviews with Gavin Newsom, and there's a lot of people who's really talking about him and the job he's done and hasn't done. And I wanted to react to TYT real quick and kind of see a left-leaning idea of what's going on. Cenk and Anna Kasparian kind of let them go off, and I believe this is Trump that's going to begin the thing. They utilize Trump. But anyway, I want to appreciate you guys. We're over 1,000 subscribers, and I want to keep it going. I'm going to bring you guys content. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the vid.
I think that Gavin is largely incompetent, and I think the mayor is largely incompetent, and probably both of them are just stone cold incompetent. What they've done is terrible.
You say what to people who insist that these independent investigations or calls for them? Are you passing the blame onto other people?
How could it be when we're doing an independent investigation?
President-elect Trump has blamed you for this crisis. He called you incompetent.
And it turns out that Gavin Newsom absolutely is incompetent, while giving the appearance of someone who's poised to be a president. Now, we'll get to all those details in just a minute, but it is important to understand that California Democrats are absolutely getting blasted for their inept leadership and lack of fire preparedness in the lead up to the devastating fires that have ravaged large parts of Los Angeles County, devastated areas, including the Pacific Palisades, Altadena, California, which is near Pasadena. Now, Donald Trump in particular has been going after the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who just keeps getting caught in various lies, including the one that you're about to hear.
The reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
That is such great reporting, because he sat there and lied with a straight face. If the reservoir was full, why is the fire still unmanageable? We should have been able to get that done already. It's been a few weeks already. Why is it still burning? Why are people still, it's moving, and because they're not taking care of it, because they can't. They have depleted their resources, but they've cut a lot of funding to the fire department, and they're left with their hands out like, what's going on? When you take away from these entities, the police, you take away from the fire department, and you think that allocating that to somebody else is going to work, this is the things that could happen. You can get situations like this. They don't hearken on and look at crime, because that doesn't seem like a huge thing, but that's figuratively. A lot of these cities that we're seeing, like Chicago and stuff like that, they're under fire figuratively because of crime, because people just like this. They're taking away funding from the police and they're trying to allocate it to different things. But again, this is just another situation that's proven once you decide that you want to take the funding and the resources from the necessities of life and the necessities of like these jobs that we absolutely need. These are the things that could happen. Sitting there lying.
What triggered my desire to get the investigation to understand what was happening with that local reservoir that was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to.
Why did you say all the reservoirs were full? And then when you're hit with the facts of one of the major reservoirs being completely empty, well, that's why I'm calling for investigations. And, that's not a state reservoir. I'm going to pass the buck. Please don't blame me. It's not my fault, even though I am the governor of this state. That's who Gavin Newsom is. In every single interview that he has done amid these wildfires, if you listen carefully, all he does is look for other people to blame. Oh, it's the city government. Oh, it wasn't the state government. No. You're the top dog, politically speaking, in the state of California, and he has failed the people of California, not just in regard to the current wildfires, but he has consistently failed the people of California in response to these wildfires, the aftermath of the wildfires. I mean, just take a look at what happened in Paradise, California. Okay, the so-called Camp Fire, which absolutely destroyed that community, robbed people of their homes as a result of PG&E, one of the electrical utilities here in this country, in this state. He bailed them out. This is who Gavin Newsom is, and I have a lot more to get to. But Cenk, I want to give you an opportunity to weigh in.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to finding out what caused these fires. And it might be a couple of different reasons. We don't really know. But if it's PG&E again, then I'm going to be furious because Gavin Newsom took $10 million from them and then has not forced them to bury their wires. And their wires that are hanging above us all are kind of like a Damocles sword hanging over all of our heads in California.
House. That is somebody's house. Imagine going to work and come home one day and this is what you come back to. Do you see that? That is the most disheartening, heartbreaking, I should say. And he gonna sit there and lie. The reservoir is a fool. Don't lie. It's okay to say we were ill prepared. I mean, no shit. Obviously, you were ill prepared. Look, it's okay to tell the truth. But to sit there and lie and say we have water and these are the things that we're seeing, obviously you lying. There ain't no way around that.
Just so that Gavin Newsom can collect more campaign donations from PG&E. It's disgusting. I can't stand it. And then to your point, Anna, why did you say that you're ordering an investigation because the reservoir was not filled for the Pacific Palisades? But like literally 15 seconds ago, you said that all the reservoirs were filled. Both of those things can't be true at the same time. And I don't mean that as, hey, maybe you might have did a slip up on the reservoir not being full, but you just explained 15 seconds later that it was so important to you that you ordered an independent investigation, including of yourself, then it's hard for me to believe that you forgot that when he asked you the first time around.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So look, I think Karen Bass has a lot of explaining to do in LA. And I think that, and the Santa Ynez reservoir is more of a local issue than a state issue. But I think that overall, your point about Gavin deflecting, well, he's done it literally in every interview. And in this case, I want you guys to understand the trick that he's doing, because he's doing one of these investigations is a great way to punt and avoid responsibility when everyone is paying attention. When that report comes out, even if it's a scathing report, it'll come out 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 3 months, however long it takes. And by that point, people will have moved on to some degree, right? And Gavin gets to pick the people doing the independent investigation. And then, even if it comes out against them, by that point, the energy is dissipated. And he knows that. But Anna, I gotta say one thing. Look, Democrats usually, unfortunately, over the last, I don't know, couple of decades, I guess at least post-Obama, right? have had two problems. One is they don't deliver on policy, and two is just terrible on messaging and politics and strategy.
No, one is they don't have any policy that they can stick to. Everybody's everywhere. They have, the far left, the progressive, and then you got your liberal who was on the fence now. Because now you look at your actual liberal now, some of them, depending on what they believe, are literally moderate, So, I mean, that's the reason why they can't stick to something and find common ground and commonality within their party. And that's the reason why we're in these predicaments, because people have different ideas about what should be done. At the end of the day, just do something and say something that you're going to stick to.
Gavin Newsom is slick enough that he knows how to deflect. So he does it really professionally. If you're not paying attention and you just saw that on MSNBC, I think that a lot of those Democratic voters are going to think, oh, Gavin's on top of this, man. He's nailing this. And I know that that's what drives you even more crazy, okay? But he's at least adept at pretending he's doing something while doing nothing.
We don't need an investigation.
Nope.
We don't need an investigation because we know exactly what happened with that empty reservoir.
Yep.
And the reason why that reservoir was empty is because of the fact that it needed repairs to a floating cover so debris doesn't get into the water. And it's been empty for nearly a year. Why has it been empty for a year? Well, because constructing anything, building anything in this state, thanks to the environmental activists, or I should say, thanks to the individuals in this state who use environmentalism as this shield in order to pass regulations to make it incredibly difficult to build anything, including housing, right? They've succeeded at that. So to build anything, whether it's a reservoir, whether it's a repair to a reservoir, whether it's building a house, whether it's building anything, becomes incredibly expensive, becomes incredibly difficult to do, takes years on end. The last reservoir that was built in the state of California was built in it was completed in the year 2000. Groundbreaking on that reservoir began in 1995. Explain to me how the fifth largest economy globally, the state of California, has that much difficulty building a reservoir. 5 years? Last one again was completed in the year 2000. In 2014, voters in California overwhelmingly supported a ballot measure to support building more reservoirs in the state in order to bulk up our water infrastructure because we live in a drought-prone state. That passed in 2014. Funding was attached to it. You want to know how many reservoirs have been built since 2014? Zero. This state is an utter joke because of the people who are governing it. Gavin Newsom right now is at the top of that list. Let's get back to the Santa Ynez Reservoir. So officials said that the Santa Ynez Reservoir had been closed since about February of last year, 2024. Okay.
Wow.
For repairs to its
year.
cover, leaving a 117 million gallon water storage complex empty in the heart of the Pacific Palisades for nearly a year. Unacceptable. So why hasn't it been repaired? Like, what's going on? Well, the city began emptying the reservoir in February of last year due to this tear in the floating cover. They were worried about debris getting into the water. Totally understand that. The repair would have taken a week, but it didn't take a week. It never got done because repairing anything in this damn state is impossible. Okay, so then we hear about the upcoming winds. Look, we were not surprised by this. I want people to not make the mistake of drinking the Democratic Party's Kool-Aid on this, because we were getting reports about the intense Santa Ana winds and the upcoming fire weather almost a week in advance. I knew about the fire winds and all of that the Friday before the fire started on Tuesday. Now, I bring that up because there was nothing wrong with the actual structure of that Santa Ynez reservoir. It was just the floating cover that had issues. So if I were the mayor of Los Angeles, knowing that these winds are coming, knowing that those winds could create a terrible, hazardous wildfire situation, I would hurry up and fill that reservoir, not really concerned about the debris getting into that reservoir, because we might need that reservoir specifically to fight fires. She didn't do that though, did she, Cenk? She knew about the winds. She knew they were coming. And what did she do? She went on a taxpayer-funded trip. Us Angelinos paid for her to travel abroad to Ghana, okay? For what? For something important that's going to benefit the people of Los Angeles? No, to watch their incoming president get inaugurated.
Yeah.
You are the mayor of a major city. You're not a diplomat. You're not an ambassador. What the F are you doing in Ghana?
I thought she's very good.
Yeah.
Why were you not here preparing for a potential disastrous wildfire? The fact that she went to Ghana, Cenk, isn't just about the waste in taxpayer money. It isn't just about her absence. It's about the fact that it shows that she underestimated what was about to come. She didn't have the foresight because she doesn't care. That's the issue here.
I think there's nothing more that needs to be said. Honestly, they are showing with this lackluster effort that they're putting in order to keep the people safe, the tax-paying people safe. They don't, as she just stated, they don't have the foresight. They're not looking forward and understanding what could happen. She just said everything right there. They had not even a hunch. They had some facts that it may get out of hand. And from what it looked like, it seemed like Karen Bass was going to Ghana, not for any diplomatic reason. She was going because I feel like, here's my conspiracy, or the beginning of, I feel like she knew exactly what was going on. And she was like, if I'm not there, Gavin would have to take, and he's a better person. I feel like they probably worked this out because what's the common sense here is, I mean, there's probably none, but the common sense here is they know what's going on. They understand the situation at hand. She gonna just leave it up, just up and leave? Why? They talked about it. They worked it out. They decided, you know what? If this is what's going to happen, Gavin was like, you know what? I can deflect. You know, I'll run an independent investigation. You know, that way you're okay, and you know we can, you know, keep everything where we need to keep it, and we won't have to worry about outsiders getting into our business. I'll work it out. That's what I feel like. So as Anna also explained, there's an enormous amount of money going into this for the lack of effort that's being put in. Meaning, the fact that it costs so much to live in LA, and it takes so long to do things, to build infrastructure, to rebuild the reservoir that is obviously needed. Who is to blame for that? And typically, if you want somebody to blame when, you know, something is awry, something's under fire, and in their case, literally under fire, who do you blame? The people in charge. You start top, then you start to realize, because there's nobody on the bottom. The taxpayers, you're going to blame the taxpayers? No, they're putting their money into it. You're going to blame who is in charge, especially in that area. And it's so crazy that she decided to go to Ghana when she did. Because she didn't have to go to the Ghanaian inauguration. She could have went somewhere else. Or she could have went at some other time. She didn't have to go when she went. Why did she go when she went? To avoid any kind of consequence or direct consequence with these fires, because she knew. Everybody knew. This isn't LA, because of the area it's in. They know the possibilities of a fire. This is not the first time anything like this happened. Things like this have happened, but not to this degree, because they were prepared. The dry air, the winds, the wild winds, they know what could happen. And the fact of the matter is they did not do what they were supposed to do to steer it in the right direction. So here we are trying to figure it out, and it's getting juicy for me because Trump is coming in. All these things are starting to happen and starting to make him look even better. You know, these same people who talk so much trash about Donald Trump, these are the people you see in these cities. These are the people who are starting to look real crazy. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. And I got a few more videos I got for you guys. So I'm going to get back to y'all. All right. Y'all take it easy. Peace.